So we continue with a selection of conferences today. The next panel is about chemicals and denim, and I hope that we have all our EBTs joining. So I can see Andrea, I can see Roberto, and I'm sure that Alberto will be joining us now. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, thanks very much for joining this Transformation in Pakistan. We appreciate that you saved some time for this discussion. Let me make an introduction of yourself to the students in Pakistan. So we'll start with Andrea. Andrea is the Managing Director of Officina 39 in Italy. Roberto Camera is the CEO of Nearchimica, also in Italy. And Alberto De Conti is the marketing and fashion head for Rudolf, which is a company based in Germany. If I make a mistake, just please let me know, okay? I want to be, okay, everything is fine. So,
beautiful, Miguel, fantastic.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you. So the first thing that I want to tell the audience is that chemicals are part of the magic of denim, okay? And there are these companies are making strong efforts and investing a lot of time and money and resources to make, you know, the right chemical for the right application. We will start with one question for each of the three panelists, and then we will have a joint discussion about hot topics or hot issues on the denim washing industry. So, okay, let me start with you, Alberto. You're first. There is something that we have discussed a few times, and I like very much the concept. It's about a smart and a stupid chemistry. Okay, so can you please tell the students what is a smart and a stupid chemistry?
I know, Miguel. I've been talking about intelligent and stupid chemistry for a while now, and
I know.
But I see that those terms stick in people's head. You know, I mean, like they tend to remember that. So, stupid chemistry is cheap chemistry. It's byproducts, basically waste of other industry, waste that gets used in textile processing because, you know, in textile, apparently, you know, everything needs to be cheap for some reason. It is inexpensive commodity chemicals that can be sourced from other industrial sources, such as metal processing, coal burning, power plants, you know, you name it, you know, those nice, you know, industries. The problem with stupid chemistry is that it can contain the so-called unintentionally added substances, contaminants of diverse nature. In some cases, you know, that's really troubles. Well, you know, they can be dangerous. On the other hand, intelligent chemistry is really rooted in advanced R&D and sort of an advanced environmental consciousness. So it can embrace a number of really advanced technical avenues ranging from, you know, bio-based raw materials, certificate or certified sources, chemical recycling, which you know, if you ask me, it's, you know, the latest frontier. Typically, intelligent chemistry is pioneering, but it's also in sync with the most important international programs. So that's the difference. It's a no-brainer that intelligent chemistry should be used instead of, you know, stupid chemistry, but that isn't unfortunately always the case.
Well, Alberto, my question was, yes, because of that. I mean, the perception of chemicals, like, oh, chemicals, is sometimes misunderstood by people. I mean, chemical is everything. We are chemicals. So that's why the differentiation between smart, intelligent, and stupid chemistry is so important. I mean, chemicals are chemicals. Andrea, I would like to ask you about something. You initiated a project as a coloring option, you know, using fibers. And I would like to ask you about this new coloring option. Not new, but it's a new opportunity for coloring articles using a new technology. Can you, because that's a little bit away from the, you know, what is the conventional scope for a let's say chemical company involved on denim, right? Can you tell us about this concept, please?
For the question, and first let me say it's a pleasure to be here today, also with some really good colleagues in the industry. So let me say hi also to Roberto, Alberto, for joining this panel. So about your questions, you know, we developed some years ago, now is 4 years ago, a technology where we are able to transform the textile waste into dye stuff. But really, let me just, I don't want to talk about this technology to promote the technology. Just, I would like to, as we are talking to the students, I would like to give our experience, why we developed that type of technology. At the end, you know, as we said, our industry, in the chemical industry, we are during last 10 years, 15 years, really, we've abused a lot about terms like sustainability, green, eco-washing, blah, blah, blah. So really at the time, what we were looking for was a real technology that really can have less impact in our industry. And really, I'm usual make in very transparent way a critics, for example, against the natural dyes. If we are talking about natural dyes for small project, for artisanal craftsmanship project, we have to say to the student, that's amazing. So these are a very important message that we can give to the markets, that we can give to the consumers. But I think this cannot be sustainable if we're thinking fast fashion retailers replacing the conventional dyes with natural dyes coming from flowers, from the extraction of the plants. I'm not talking about natural coming from the reuse of some waste coming from the nature. This is different history. And that's the reason that we were thinking what to do in giving a real solution in terms of sustainability. And so we decided to work a lot, and we found the textile waste one of the options. We worked 1 year to set up the process, but the idea was to use something that is really available in the market nowadays. And we are producing tons of waste in our world every day. And so I think really this is an approach of the industry that we learn from the paper industry, we learn from other industry. So I think we should work more also in the future to set up technologies, to develop new technologies that are working with the most available materials that we have in our world, so the waste. In our case, textile waste, so is real circular, so we can use textile waste to produce dye stuff that we can use to dyeing again some dyes. So really, this is our experience, and we are trying. So when you are developing something like that, your chip, so your mentality is changing. So then you are always trying to think out of the box, and this is what I think should push all of us in our industry to a real technology that can really change the industry, not just a technology as Alberto is calling like a stupid one.
Thank you. No, my question was because, you know, Officina 39 is exploring other ways, you know, other ways to make things right for the denim washing, the denim coloration industry. And all these kind of projects are praiseworthy. And Roberto, for you, you know, this introduction question is, well, I have a couple here, but okay, what are the technical demands now? What are the products on technical demand by brands, designers, product developers? How do you, what are they asking?
Hi everybody, and first of all, thank you for inviting us in this panel. Well, the question is a little bit huge. I mean, customer wants okay price, want beautiful garments, want to be on the safe side of the environment. But at the end, the target is to realize a nice garment and environmentally friendly, trying to use as less as possible, and to also explore the new frontier of chemicals and equipments. So it is like pieces of a puzzle. You have to connect together different needs. Our job is to understand the needs of the customer and try to realize a process, not only a chemical, that can take to this kind of result. We do this working really like a partner for the customer. In our R&D, we have equipment which are practically the same that they use in their factories, and we cooperate with them on this side. So the demand is less harmless, more safe chemicals, more safe applications, and possibly less passages, because we have to consider that also the number of passages is costing a lot, is affecting also the final results. And the target is, I would say, less is better, and to use different means in a proper way. So we are developing also a system considering enzymes, which are environmentally friendly, that can achieve results in abrasion, in bleaching, and other results. And we are working in optimizing also PP replacements or discharge prints, which are eco-friendly. You can see some example on our backside. So this is the object. And the other important things is that you have to work from cradle to cradle. So chemistry is a part of the chain. The chain starts with the yarn. I was listening before. The problem starts really from the yarn. Then everything has to be planned to the final result. If you plan in a proper way, you can make a short process and efficient. If you don't plan from the starting articles, normally you need more effort, more job, more energy, and so on. The other thing is to understand the meaning of sustainability. We are focusing on reducing the water consumption, the energy consumption, and the CO2 release.
Well, thank you. You mentioned cradle to cradle, and it's for the students to tell them that we have a cradle to cradle presentation from one of the certifying institutes that is going to cover the circularity. It's a very important topic, Roberto, that you raised up. So moving now to the panel discussion and continuing with what Roberto just mentioned. And so the chemicals for denim washing, or for denim in general, the innovation is always there. So could you predict what is the next generation of chemicals that we will see, apart from the generic considerations that Roberto mentioned? So we have seen laser boosters, we have seen laser smoothers, and we have seen, different type of products to produce all kind of effects. So where is the innovation on denim chemicals? Where is the innovation going? To what type of targets? What is the effects that will be in fashion? Any of you, anyone?
Alberto, please.
Okay, Alberto. Sorry.
So Miguel, this is the 100 billion question, isn't it? I think it's hard to say. So I could tell you maybe something in the area of, sort of truly conscious chemistry, maybe something in the area of real functionality. We don't see much, fashion effects out there anymore. And, in the short term, maybe nothing at all. I'm being a little bit provocative here, but at the moment, the global apparel markets are still in a survival mode. And this, this is what we all witness. We are going through a transition that was unexpected, and it has sort of colossal dimensions. Our perception is that most of the brands and retailers are not open to talk about real innovation yet, as their preoccupations are elsewhere. The focus is on optimizing what exists already, and in some cases, we are working to re-engineer current production, so to make it more rational, but also better from an environmental perspective. Now, that is, I think, what we can expect as innovation in the short term. An overall improvement of the environmental profile of the very same pair of jeans. There is a little bit of a risk, though. So this ever-increasing complexity in the universe of, these very well chemical certifications are making it so that most of the investments must go into the redesign of existing formulations, or filing a number of certification files. We got more than 300 files open at Rudolf. Okay, so currently, all of us, and I'm sure that I speak of, on behalf of Nearchimica and Officina 39 as well, are forced to certify the same auxiliary according to 4 or 5 different methods, simply because there is still not enough alignment among apparel retailers and and brands. The industry has been talking about this for years. Okay, we are still making no significant progress simply because apparel brands and retailers are camping on their own side. So what I'm saying, and I don't want to get negative, absolutely not. There is going to be innovation out there, and certainly in the area of environmental sustainability. However, the day that we manage to free these resources and put them on real R&D, we'll be able to express even more.
No, that's a good point about the certification. It's a real mess, and the students should be ready for handling thousands of certifications for everything. It's a big dark cloud over the chemical industry. Roberto, please.
I would like to make clear a point on this subject. As you said, chemistry is not a bad thing. Every human being is like a chemical plant, a biochemical plant and so on. Some is okay. Starting from that point, that chemistry is not a dirty thing. What is moving is the research, and research is investment, is not a cost. So we should concentrate on research, on better searches, on better performances, more biodegradable products, instead of using a lot of human research, also not only money, in answering every day to thousands of letters, which are substantially the same, but under a different ad label or a different mean. So like in the automotive, they have only one certification. It's very tough, and we are not afraid to respect a tough certification, but we would like to have a clear engagement on one certification, which can be accepted by everybody, with common rules, and then go ahead with that. Starting from that point, if we can do that, we will save a lot of human and economical researches that we can use really to improve the situation. That's right. Not only to moving papers and certificates
up and down. That's something that the students will learn. Andrea, the next topic, and considering the COVID situation, do you think that functional denim with antivirus, antibacterial, whatever, do you think that this is going to stay as a permanent fashion trend in denim?
So, Miguel, the question is very good, and so let me say in general that I think that functional chemicals, again, sometimes can be, again, I use the Alberto words, just stupid chemicals. Maybe I said something that is against the common sense, but I can remember very well 1.5 years ago when we started the discussion, the first Zoom meeting. So all of us started to learn how to use this digital platform, and now we are aware how to do that. We are expertise. And really, I can remember the first meeting we had at the time, because, March 2020, April 2020, everybody calling us, like I'm sure Nearchimica and Rudolf, our competitors, asking the functional chemicals. I don't know, Alberto and Roberto, but really we developed some products, but really at the end, what is my experience that has been really as many times happening a marketing tools used for a certain period, and so if the functional is something with a long vision, so we are talking about some chemical that is changing the structure of the fiber, so is improving the characteristic of the fiber, I think this can have future. But if we are talking about a solution, like in this case, really, I personally, maybe it's my limits, but I cannot see the advantages, and really, I didn't see at the moment any brands really involved to promote this type of new technology. Not maybe it's as a capsule collection, but so if we are talking about that, so this the big, let's say, discussion that we have in our industry. So in general, if you're asking me what should be functional, firstly, we have to start from the basic. Functional should be, nowadays, internally, we consider it functional. Any technology can have a positive environmental impact results. So this for us functional. So we have to think first about that. So we have to, because we have to think to reduce the other chemicals, as also my colleague said. And then let me say just, and then I conclude, about the next innovation that, apart functional, really, I think any innovation should start from the designer point of view. Firstly, with the next innovation should be to create again in our industry beauty garments that missed a lot during last 10 years at least. So, and how we can do that? So for me, the starting point should be the designer. So the young designer, and thanks to involve us in this type of events, as your job in transforming this is very important, because we are talking to the students. So I think we have to involve the young generation, the young designer generation, to develop products, changing the approach that we have. You know, still now the fashion is rooted in a linear approach: make, use, dispose. So I think also we have to think in general how to involve the young designer to understand what is functional, so new technology in general, to reduce the impact in a genuine way, not in marketing in fake way. So these are very important. And if I'm not a designer, and unfortunately, I'm not even anymore so young. So, but in general, I think always, if I'm a young designer, if I can be a young designer right now, imagine what you can do as a new designer using the new technologies as a circular technology, circular material. So I think this is giving you a power. The power to, the imagination should not have limits. So I think this is the starting point for any innovation in the future for our industry. So we need to really change the approach from linear to creativity linked with circularity and sustainability, but in right way, not in stupid or marketing. Sorry if I change a little bit, but
no, Andrea, it's a panel. I mean, they are open. You have very short time for a last question, and thank you very much, Andrea, for mentioning how important are the new generation of designers. And it's about whether you think, and you can answer with a yes or no, or absolutely not. So whether you can figure out a denim garment that has been washed without chemicals. Can you figure out this?
Miguel, if you ask me, the short answer is no. Okay. Short answer, no. Now, we are in a moment when there are companies and individuals out there whose marketing paints a future with zero chemical rates, okay? Zero chemicals, because they're so bad, you know, zero water, zero everything, just cotton, indigo, and, you know, their technologies. But what does zero mean? You know, zero is a challenge for philosophers and mathematicians, but in textile, zero chemistry equals a pretty ugly garment. Okay, I mean, let's face it. It's garments that nobody would be willing to wear, except, you know, maybe just to cover up. It's not about chemistry, yes, chemical. No, I think the really good questions when it comes to the application of, say, intelligent chemistry are three: is what you use, how you use it, and how you dispose it, how you discharge it. Okay, so I think we need to invite the guys and girls that are in the audience to go very well beyond what they hear these days. You know, develop a sense of curiosity, a critical attitude, and make some decisions that are based on facts rather than, you know, the marketing of dreams. So I cannot see a diverse eclectic, interesting, compelling fashion, and then without the use of intelligent chemistry. No, I don't.
Yeah, I would add something more if I can. I know short time.
Yeah, we are running out of time.
The coin has two faces. You should think what is the cost to make a denim without any chemicals. If you want to go back to use only mechanical action, abrasions, maybe scraping or other things. So I'm not sure that the final balance of what we call LCA, life cycle assessment, would be positive at the end, because people can tell opinion. Then when you go to an LCA, you take numbers and numbers tell you the truth. So maybe you don't have emission of chemicals that can be not bad for the environment, maybe, or enzymes which are not so badly affecting the waters, but you have other emission, because energy you need to spend other energy to produce energy is not at zero balance. So this leitmotif of the zero is not true. One way or the other, you send something in the environment, and everything that you move has environmental cost in terms of energy and CO2. So we should understand what is the less worst situation for the environment.
Okay.
The other thing is
right.
that we are in a transition period. So in the last 3 years, honestly, we moved a lot through the new generation products, especially with PP replacement and others. But the story is not finishing. We are on the road. We are moving.
Yeah, it's a continuous
the message to the students is to be open to the changement, because we live every day a changement. Sometimes it's more fast, sometimes it's more slow. And I think that we are ready to prepare for the next jump. There is a big pressure, there is a big demand. Still, we don't know, as Alberto was saying, really how, but we know that we have to do. So please be open-minded.
Okay. Our producer is kicking my ass. So first, I want to thank you all for your participation. I have a couple of questions for you to reply, and especially there is one for Andrea. So Andrea, the question is from Abdul Jabbar. That name sounds familiar to me. So my question is to Andrea: is it transfer of textile waste to dye stuff or coloring material? I think they are two different things. Do you understand, Andrea?
Yeah. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, if we are talking about the technology we developed, in that case, you have to think that technology as a pigment. So we are not extracting colors from the fibers, but we are using, you have to think the fibers, the powder that we are producing from the textile waste as a pixel in the monitor, in the screen. So it's like, we are using really the cellulosic fibers as a pigment, so as the pigment, so there is a link between the color and the substrate. So I hope that I replied properly.
I have another question from Ron, and it's what chemicals should be banned or we should stop using? And I think, Alberto, you volunteered to reply that. It's a short answer, Alberto. Otherwise, you can reply in a written.
What's the question, Miguel?
Is what chemicals let's say, need to be removed from the denim industry? So the actual question is, which chemicals does denim industry need to stop using?
None of the chemicals that 3 companies on the panel sell. And definitely, seriously, it's a very complex answer. Now, as I said before, I think the risks really lie on those bulk chemicals whose origin is not known, or where there's no really control of the supply or value chain. That's where the risk would lie. There, of course, can include potassium permanganate, which is under the radar screen as we speak. But other than that, anything that falls out of the MRSL of the different brands, and because there are more than 300 of them, we should be very clear of what can be in and what can be out.
Okay.
Miguel,
well,
sorry,
if I
had just 30 seconds. I think what is important is also to say to the students that is not what we have to ban, but what we should use. So I think this always we are here to think about ban. So we have what we should use, because you know, sorry, my friends of the machinery companies, but ozone is amazing technology. But if you are not destroying the ozone properly, you know very well, Miguel, you can kill the people also. So that means that the technology that you have in your hands, you have to use in proper way. So I think the education parts should be what we should use and how to use in safer way. So I think this is more what should be banned. So what we should use. Sorry if.
No, Andrea, it's fine. I mean, actually, the producer is saying that it's very good to have passionate people like you know, in the panel. It's good to share passion on that. So from my side, you can also on the Q&As, you can add additional comments if you like. You can add more you know, comments from what you think is, you know, has to be banned or not, depending your comments, Andrea. And then, okay, from my side, thank you very much all for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you guys in the panels, and looking forward to meeting you live very soon. Okay, so thanks very much. Have a very good day. And now moving to Mohsen. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao. Bye bye. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao.
Mohsen.
Thank you so much.